Good day. This footage picks up after the field dressing. Now we're going to start the breakdown process. I like to begin by removing the flank, the thin section between the hip and the rib cage. You can see the exit wound here, so I'm trimming around the coagulated area and keeping everything questionable out of the meat. This is the right flank. The process is the same on the other side. Up next are the loins. Some people call it the sweet meat. I start by running the blade along the backbone to free up one side. I'm not claiming to be the fastest at this. There are folks who can do this a lot quicker and a lot cleaner. I'm just focused on keeping it intact and keeping it clean. There is almost always one side that comes out easier than the other. This side corporated. Once that backbone cut is made, you free it up along the ribs. It'll start to separate it pretty naturally. You don't have to force it. Just follow the bone and let the knife do the work. These are small on deer, but they're some of the most tender cuts you'll get. Next, I remove the lower front legs. Bend the knee, find the joint, and work the knife into the soft spot. Once you're in the joint, it separates without cutting the bone. Next, I move to the front shoulder. Unlike the hindquarter, there is no socket here. The shoulder isn't attached to the skeleton. It just floats against the rib cage, held in place by muscle. If you remember that whole song about the bones being connected, well, this one's connected to nothing. So once you follow the seam between the shoulders and the ribs, it'll come free. Now I'm finishing the backstrap. Since this is a smaller deer, I'm taking it a little further up into the neck and combining the neck meat with the backstrap to make one longer cut. Most people stop at the shoulder, but on a deer this size, it just makes sense to keep it together. Once both sides are freed up along the backbone and ribs, you don't have to keep slicing the whole way. At that point, you can just use your hands and let it separate naturally. Follow the bone, apply steady pressure, and it'll come out clean. I take a look at the rib meat and the neck meat and decide what's worth trimming. On a smaller deer, there's not always much there. Whatever doesn't go on the table won't go to waste. The chickens will pick it clean. With the front cleaned up, I move to the hindquarter. I start by opening up the seam around the hip while it's still hanging. That gives me clear access to the ball joint. Once a joint is exposed, I can lower the carcass and finish separating the quarter. I remove the lower leg at the joint just like before. Bend it, find the soft spot, and let it separate. From there, the hind quarter comes free cleanly. That's the deer quartered and ready for ice. A couple days cooling down, then into the refrigerator on racks to age. Next video we'll break these down into individual cuts. As always, thanks for watching.